My name is Tanya Mason. I am a early years lecturer within the care, health and early years sector, so the SHE department. And I've been at the college for about a year and a half now. I've got 16 years worth of experience of working out in the early years education sector. I was previously in the role before I came here. I was previously an assistant head, an assistant head at a early years children's centre, which had maintained nursery school, daycare and education base for 1 to 4-year-olds, and also a children's centre working with families and within the community. And I've also worked at another private and daycare setting before that. So my job roles and responsibilities when working within the my previous early years centre was very much about working face to face with the children. So I was a key worker role, which was working with children, supporting their stages of development, their areas of development, carrying out observations and assessment, planning for their learning and environment. Also within a leadership role, I was also responsible for staff training, staff development, inductions, supervisions, and having that drive behind building a skilled workforce, making sure that we provided the best possible outcomes for children. Also, as part of working within that aspect of work, I was also involved in both internal and external training, which really opened my eyes to a whole range of opportunities within the early years sector, and to drive that passion forward of giving children that best possible start. The foundation years, the first 5 years of life, are so fundamental for children, and it's a fantastic, inspiring and motivating job to do. I started my studies at CRC at 16 when leaving school, and I went to do my level 3. So I did 2 years of my level 3, which was in college and also placement, which was fantastic. One of my placements is where I ended up working several years down the line. After I'd been qualified with my level 3, I worked for about 3 years as a nursery practitioner and a room leader. And then as I changed jobs, I then also wanted to look into further study. And I went on to do my foundation degree at Cambridge Regional College in association with Angela Ruskin, which is what I teach on now, which is fantastic because I'm so passionate about that. I worked full time whilst doing my foundation degree 1 day a week at CRC for 3 years. After that, I topped up onto the BA Honours at Angela Ruskin for a year, which I still worked. I dropped my hours a little bit because I needed to go to Angela Ruskin to complete that. And then I also topped that up by doing my early years professional status as well, which was through Angela Ruskin. So it's been several years of studying, but I've been able to do my studies while working, which meant that I still was earning and also still gaining the experience and knowledge, and able to apply the two together. When working within early years, you've got to be somebody that is really passionate about the job that you do and got a real invested interest in the best possible outcome for children. And one of the best things was seeing children grow and develop and be that confident, competent learner who's just thriving and interested in absorbing and taking in everything that's happening in their life. And I think for me also in leadership and management, it was very much about seeing the development and opportunities for staff who came into the sector who often didn't necessarily know the deep level of learning that comes within working in early years and education. So the two aspects for me were hugely important. It was a really big decision for me when I chose to change career route, because I've, for 16 years, worked with the children, been really actively involved with supporting children's learning and development, and actually making that move to work within CRC and become a lecturer of mature adults within the foundation degree and with FE students, so just leaving school. I think for me, it was about really sharing that passion, that interest, and that knowledge that I've built throughout the years. Also, it was about a really personal level for me, is very much so when I first went into early years, back at the age of 16, people said that's a dead-end job and there's nowhere to go. And actually, I have had a hugely successful career, so many opportunities open to me, and I wanted to make sure that that message isn't what people get, and to be able to give that opportunity to others, and to be able to inspire and motivate and drive a workforce forward. Education and knowledge built up about early years is not often understood, and I think about having people that really value the key principles behind early years education, and having them within the sector of teaching and providing learning opportunities for people is hugely valuable. So part of my teaching and the way that I approach teaching and learning is bringing practical elements in. It has been slightly different this year, and I've had to think outside of the box, and I did have resources and activities on the screen while doing online teaching and lessons as well. But because at the college I teach in both higher education and FE, it's about applying practical knowledge to theoretical perspective. So you can have all the theory, but you need to be able to develop those practical skills. So I like to be able to bring in real life experiences, real examples, and also hands-on learning experiences with resources. And I've got my own little resource collection that I like to pull out if I'm talking about schemas and how children learn. Practical experience is hugely beneficial for students when looking at early years education, because you need to be able to have those grounding skills, which is communication with parents, communication with children, and communication with your team members. And all of that comes through practical work experience, being in the workforce, and that way of being able to develop the transferable skills from work to study and study to work is hugely valuable within early years education, and work experience practice is an essential part of the learning experience. It needs the two to be combined together. There is so many different job roles that that students can go into after completing an early years qualification. Obviously at CRC we offer qualifications from a level 1, level 2, level 3, and then also into higher education with the level 4 and 5, which is a foundation degree. Job opportunities that are available are often not thought outside of the box with people, and they think, oh, I'm just going to be a nursery worker. Just a nursery worker is a fantastic job. So there's early years practitioners as qualified. There could be going into leadership and management, so leadership, room leaders, deputy managers, managers. Also progressing into things like, some people take the opportunity and route into teaching assistant roles, into nursery, schools that are part of a school setting, play into after school clubs. And then also, if people choose to go on to higher education, it can go in all different avenues. You can go and progress on to doing your teacher training, and other people take it in other directions as well. My main bit of advice that I would give to anybody who's looking at early years education is to follow what you really want to do. You need to be a enthusiastic, passionate person who has got an invested interest in working with people. And my advice would be, don't let people say that it's a dead-end job. There is so many opportunities. It is so rewarding, and to just go for that opportunity that you want to follow, and really consider that there is so many different options out there and so many different settings, and the opportunity to study in a vocational course where you can get practical as well as theoretical knowledge and be able to apply that to your qualification is a fantastic opportunity.